Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ben. I sing in Neck Deep.
I'm West and I play guitar in Neck Deep.
And this is our 4-track history. I wrote that one in my bedroom, pretty much. I was probably about 16 or 17. And I don't know, I was kind of in this weird thing with this girl who I'd been with in high school, and then we broke up, and then we were kind of getting... Things were kind of happening again, and then they didn't, and I was basically just this lovesick teenager. And so, yeah, I kind of just sat in my room and poured my heart out over, 4 chords and the truth. And that was it, really. The idea of getting Laura on it was kind of like, well, it was kind of about, a girl, and it would have been cool to have this, like, girl perspective on it. And I don't know, Laura's always been there when we've been writing these songs, and she's the absolute harmony queen, and so she's always kind of got she's always had her part in a Neck Deep song, but this was like her big kind of thing. But yeah, it was really just me being an honest little teenager. I remember writing the bridge part specifically on a walk home. I was like walking home really late at night from a friend's house. I always used to do it, and thinking about this girl, and just like, wrote the whole I fell for a girl who would never ever let me walk home. Well, that was the wrong bit, but that whole bit I wrote on just a lonely walk home, and I thought, right, well, it's got something to it, so just put it down. And really just being a lovesick teenager at the heart of it all, really. I don't know, I think it's just
really
soft,
don't know.
isn't it? I think it's just one of them where, like, I think it just had that kind of ring to it. I think it just had that sing-along kind of element to it, which people love so much. I think the chorus just kind of works as well. I like because she's smart, headstrong, and independent. It's not just like this necessary, and I think just the vibe generally, it's not necessarily like this horrible breakup song. It's kind of like this mutually sad kind of like, oh, things aren't going to work, but I still feel, I still feel for you, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, I think it's just a very relatable song. I think I don't know, I never wrote it thinking like, oh, this is going to be one of our biggest songs. In a way, I kind of thought it was a bit lame and a bit sad, and I was like, ugh, don't know if this is a bit too cringy really at first. And
do you remember we weren't even going to put it on the EP?
Yeah, we were just like,
I don't know.
Don't know if we need this. Like the rest of the EP is quite drivey, and that's just this one proper sappy song. And so I don't know what it is, but obviously that works. Obviously, people
it's a job we did put it on it.
Yeah, obviously people wanted the sap. So I really don't know. It was early days. It was horrible though. I still don't really like singing that song, because it's so hard to sing. I remember we recorded it in standard.
Not happening.
Never, ever again. Like, that was so hard to sing, so hard to play. Not hard to play at all, it's 4 chords, but hard to sing, really hard to sing. And the first few videos of us playing that are
interesting to say the least, probably.
Yeah, very sketch. But I don't know. I think there was just something honest about it, really. I think it was just kind of raw and honest, and it was. I think people anyone could relate to it. That feeling of just teenage love that didn't work out. Really, again, drawing off past relationships, which is something that I hate doing now, and I think Crushing Grief, it was about just like an old relationship, but I don't know, I think it's just got a bit of a, I think it's one of the only songs from that record that stands up today. It's one of the only ones that we kind of still play from that record, just because it does have a lot of energy live, especially. You can you can get into it, and I think that was one of Seb's. I think Seb, my brother, kind of, you can tell actually, because it's super easy to play.
Yeah.
but super effective as well. And yeah, it was just about an ex, really. I'm trying to think which ex it's about. Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. So it's about just me getting cheated on, basically. And yeah, Crushing Grief is a kind of a Goonies reference, not to the point. Yeah. Crushing death and grief, soaked with blood of a trespassing thief. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a slight Goonies
Didn't know
reference. Not. Yeah, it's not.
I'm learning stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's crushing death and grief in the Goonies, but it's like Crushing Grief instead.
Mm-hmm. Making it more Wrexham centric than the UK centric, like full on terms.
Yeah, Bagheads down by Central Station. You know,
the venue.
Well, it's a venue, but I was more on about the train station, which is just down the road,
which is worse, arguably, than the.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of dodgy activities went down around there. And yeah, like send you west from time to time. Like, even though obviously it kind of works because West obviously isn't a band, but going like. Sending your head west though. Is like, is going a bit loopy. Like, my head's west, or I've gone west. Like, that's like. So yeah, we definitely wanted to. Or it can be grim and send you west. But yeah, it's like we definitely wanted to throw like all these UK/Wrexham like references in there, because we'd had I think we still kind of do get a bit of stick for being like, he sings with an American accent, and so it was like, right, okay, well. Whatever, we'll show some pride in where we're from, and I think that's kind of what it was really, because we've always been, it's typical pop punk glory story really, innit, of just like, small town band breaks out and tackles the world, and that's how we felt at the time. And I think the more of the world we saw, we loved it and it was amazing, but the more it made us realise how much we actually do love where we're from.
Yeah. I think what was different about it as well, it wasn't us just going like, where we're from's crap. It's like, where we're from's crap, well, that's why it's hilarious, and that's why it's so good, because it is a shithole. Yeah. And that's why it's amazing.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like this, I think the first line is like the Golden Groves aligned with Affluence and Roses, and that was about California. Like, we went to California, and I loved it, and I still love California, but it's like, this is all quite squeaky clean and, a bit idealistic, and it's, a bit too perfect for me as to where I'm from, because, it's a shithole and it's grey and it's bleak and, people are odd, and,
that's why it's great, though.
Yeah, but that's why it's great. Like, it's home for that reason, and I don't know, it was just this reference to, loving where we were from, rather than like, it was weird, like, because most, and we've done it before, we've been like, I can't wait to get out of this jam. We kind of flipped it on its head a little bit, I think, and said, actually be proud of where you're from, and even if it does suck.
Oh well,
pretty high up. I'd say that it plays a pretty integral role in the legacy of Neck Deep. I think we still got a long way to go too. I think it hopefully is, most legacies, well, hopefully are long-lived, but I think that definitely cements the start of something, is where I would put. I think just Life's Not Out to Get You in general, I think the start of like people really starting to take us seriously. I think with that record in general, we wrote a banging pop punk record that I think will always go down as one of the great pop punk records. We never intended for it to be that successful or that, thought of that highly, but it was, and I think that started something much bigger for us than just like being a pop punk band. It kind of was like, oh no, these guys are one of the pop punk bands. So I don't know. It was more. I was talking to my younger self, and I was talking to my parents, or it was about my parents, and it was kind of like, I wasn't the best behaved teenager. I wasn't the worst behaved teenager, but I definitely put my parents through some shit. And I think that'll always hang over your head, or at least as a teenager or a young adult, your parents always kind of hang that stuff over your head, and you're kind of judged on your mistakes a lot as a teenager. And as a teenager, that's the most frustrating thing in the world, because you're trying to kind of reinvent yourself, and you're trying to mature at times, and you're trying to even understand yourself. So when you yourself know that you're better than the person that you used to be, but then everyone else is holding you to the standards of a mistake that you made, it can be quite frustrating. And so that's kind of where that came from, really. But it's weird because that song was written in like two halves, really. We wrote the first verse and a chorus 6 months to a year before we finished writing the song.
No, way earlier than that.
Maybe. I don't know. As to when we finished, I finished writing the lyrics anyway.
Okay, sorry.
Because I literally, one of the first things I did after I got home after my dad died was just finish writing that song, and obviously it was a song to my parents anyway. But yeah, it's kind of it kind of took on like a lot of the songs on Peace and the Panic did. It kind of took on this theme of death a little bit as well, and kind of wanting to start again, and wanting things to wanting things to be better, and to have a kind of, I don't know, and as well because it was to my parents, so it was kind of like I was kind of writing this song to my dad, maybe in a way of I'm sorry for being the way that I was. So, yeah. We need to write songs that are that catchy, that meaningful, that impactful, that dynamic. Just because it was never intent. I wrote that song almost kind of by accident. I didn't think, when I first started playing that riff, that this is going to be a defining song for us. And so as long as we kind of keep that outlook of hey, more this vibe, this kind of feel to things. But yeah, putting too much pressure on us, on ourselves, is going to be detrimental. I think we went into that record and we wrote that song under no pressure whatsoever. So I think if we can, just do something similar and just be honest, because that's what I was doing with that. I always say I always write the best stuff when I'm feeling down. I always play guitar the best when I'm stressed out or feeling down. And so yeah, I think as long as I can be honest with myself, and we can be honest with ourselves, and just write good songs and just do what we keep doing, do what we've always done, and just keep doing it, then we'll be fine. I think we've easily got it in us to write another couple in blooms, but I think that's more the vibe going forward. Not that we're not a pop punk band at heart, because we definitely are, and we're very aware of our position in that world, and our fans' expectations and that sort of stuff. But I think it's just, again, it's going to be a case of getting that balance right between the two, while still pushing things a little bit further.